The early days of June 2025 brought a familiar tremor to the world of international trade. Donald Trump announced a potential new front in his long-standing trade agenda. He threatened a staggering 200% tariff on John Deere products imported from Mexico. This was not merely a policy proposal, it was a direct challenge to a company deeply embedded in the American psyche. The announcement immediately captured headlines. It signaled a possible return to the aggressive protectionist measures that characterized Trump's previous term. The world watched, wondering if this was a negotiating tactic or a firm policy intent. This threat is a clear extension of Trump's America First philosophy. John Deere, a quintessential American brand, became the symbolic target. The company's green and yellow tractors are icons of American agriculture and industry. By targeting Deere, Trump aimed a message at other multinational corporations. The message was clear. Decisions to move production abroad could face severe consequences. Business leaders worried about renewed trade instability. Economists began to calculate the potential impact on prices and supply chains. For John Deere, the threat was particularly acute. A 200% tariff would make its Mexican-produced goods prohibitively expensive in the U.S. market. John Deere's decision to expand into Mexico reflects a broader trend among multinational corporations. The company announced plans for a new facility in Mexico, starting in 2026. This move aims to optimize its production footprint across North America. It involves careful consideration of labor costs, supply chain logistics, and market proximity. For Deere, Mexico offers advantages in these areas. Producing components closer to where they are needed can reduce costs and lead times. Mexico's trade agreements provide better market access. John Deere's move is another chapter in the story of globalized production. Donald Trump's tariff threat against John Deere ignited a fervent political and public debate. Supporters of economic nationalism quickly rallied behind the proposal. They saw it as a necessary step to protect American jobs. They viewed Deere's move to Mexico as a betrayal of American workers. For them, the 200% tariff was a justifiable measure. It was a way to compel a major American company to prioritize domestic employment. This sentiment taps into a deep well of frustration. Many feel that globalization has benefited corporations at the expense of the American working class. Labor unions and workers in affected communities express significant concern. The prospect of production moving to Mexico, even if limited, raises fears of job losses and declining wages in the U.S. Unions have long campaigned against the offshoring of manufacturing jobs. They advocate for policies that protect domestic industries. Trump's rhetoric, while controversial, often aligns with these protectionist sentiments. In response to the intense political pressure and the tariff threat, John Deere mounted a careful defense. The company's leadership quickly issued statements. They aimed to clarify the scope and intent of their Mexican expansion. It was not a wholesale abandonment of its U.S. manufacturing base. The company highlighted its continued significant investments in American factories. They pointed to the thousands of workers it still employs across the United States. Deere's spokespeople stressed that the decision was driven by global market realities. To remain competitive against international rivals, the company argued it needed to optimize its manufacturing footprint. This included leveraging cost efficiencies where available. They also pointed out that much of what would be produced in Mexico was intended for markets outside the U.S. or involved components for a global supply chain. The controversy surrounding John Deere and Trump's tariff threat has created a noticeable divide among rural voters. This constituency is traditionally a strong base of support for both Trump and the agricultural sector that relies heavily on Deere's equipment. On one hand, many farmers and rural residents resonate with the America First message. They support efforts to protect domestic jobs and industries. The idea of penalizing a company for moving production abroad appeals to their sense of economic patriotism. They may see the tariff as a way to hold corporations accountable. On the other hand, farmers are pragmatic business operators. They depend on John Deere's machinery for their livelihoods. A 200% tariff, if implemented, would likely lead to higher prices for tractors, combines, and other essential equipment. This would directly impact farmers' bottom lines, potentially making them less competitive. Many farmers also understand the complexities of global markets. They export their own products and recognize the benefits of international trade. This creates a difficult choice: support protectionist policies that might raise their costs, or advocate for freer trade that benefits their operations but might be seen as less patriotic. This tension has led to discussions about potential governmental actions. Beyond the immediate debate about tariffs in Mexican plants, a deeper transformation is underway at John Deere and across the manufacturing sector automation. Deere has been a leader in investing in advanced technologies. This includes robotics, artificial intelligence, and data analytics. These innovations are revolutionizing how agricultural equipment is designed, built, and even operated. Automated welding, assembly line robots, and smart factories are becoming increasingly common. This technological march aims to improve efficiency, precision, and safety in the manufacturing process. It is a global trend, not confined to any one country. This technological evolution has a profound impact on manufacturing jobs. While automation can create new roles in areas like software development, robotics maintenance, and data science, it often displaces traditional assembly line workers. The jobs that remain are typically higher skilled and require different qualifications. This shift presents a challenge for the existing workforce. It also changes the calculus for companies deciding where to locate production. Access to a skilled workforce capable of managing automated systems becomes as important, if not more so, than access to low-cost manual labor. The rise of automation complicates the narrative about bringing jobs back. Even if manufacturing were to return to the US on a large scale, it might not look like the factories of the past. The John Deere tariff saga, unfolding in June 2025, encapsulates a fundamental tension in the American economy. It is a clash between a nostalgic vision of past industrial greatness and the undeniable realities of a futuristic, globalized, and technologically driven world. The desire to protect American jobs and manufacturing is powerful and understandable. It speaks to a time when a strong domestic industrial base provided widespread prosperity. However, attempting to recreate that past through purely protectionist measures may prove challenging in the 21st century. The global economy is simply too interconnected. Aggressive tariffs can lead to retaliatory measures from other countries. This can harm American exporters, including farmers who rely on global markets. It can also raise costs for consumers and businesses, potentially stifling innovation and competitiveness. While the goal of strengthening domestic manufacturing is laudable, the methods must be carefully considered. Policies that foster innovation, invest in workforce skills, and support research and development may be more effective in the long run than those that simply try to wall off the domestic market. The challenge for policymakers is immense. They must navigate between the emotional appeal of economic nationalism and the pragmatic demands of global competition. Finding a balance that supports American workers and industries while embracing the benefits of international trade and technological advancement is key.